So in today's video, I'm giving you guys the ultimate list for the most underrated Quest 2 games. These are games that I feel are amazing experiences that for some reason just don't get enough praise. Making this video actually made me kind of mad as I began to realize just how many of the Quest 2's best games are rarely mentioned or even highlighted in many of the videos or within the Quest 2 community, especially when so many of the games on this list are completely free. Each game will get a rating out of 10, one being as boring as HTC representatives saying the word business, and 10 being a must play. Because I'm a fumbling moron that doesn't know how to properly script a YouTube video, I forgot to mention I'll be giving away one of the games shown off in today's video, so obviously stay tuned to that game in this list so then you know how to enter the giveaway. Or don't, that's fine too. It's also worth mentioning that some of the games featured on this list will of course be available via the regular Quest store, while some will have to be accessed through SideQuest. For those of you out of the loop, SideQuest is a third-party app that you can download to your phone and link to your Quest 2 to download early access games that have yet to be released on the official Quest store. It blows my mind how many Quest users still don't realize this even exists. I actually had someone ask me in my Discord the other day if it was even legal or not. SideQuest is very commonly used and it's completely safe to download. If you're on Android, you can just download SideQuest to your Quest 2 just by using your phone. However, if you're on an overpriced subscription-based yearly release phone with less capability like an iPhone, you'll need a laptop or a PC to install SideQuest to your Quest 2. Though once SideQuest is installed, along with any games that you want, you no longer need that PC or laptop. By the way, I'm just kidding around with the whole iPhone stuff. No hard feelings if you're on iOS. Though if you can't be bothered to do any of this, there will still be plenty of games on this list that are available on the Oculus store for you to download right now. So without further ado, let's get into this list. Starting with Descent Alps. Descent Alps is an incredible and somewhat therapeutic skiing experience in VR. It's surprising to me that it's taken this long to get an actually good skiing or snowboarding game experience in VR. You move in game by tilting your real life body similar to actual skiing, as well as throwing your arms up in real life to jump. The objective of the game is to beat the other players or AI, and it's essentially an adrenaline fueled skiing race where you thread the needle between flagpoles while skiing, as well as swinging your arms to the beat of the music. I guess this to a degree could be considered even a rhythm game. You also do all of this while dodging obstacles and trying not to take too much damage. You can build up a lot of speed during certain sections, so I would take it easy with this one if you're new to VR and are still overcoming motion sickness. This game also has an amazing and simplistic art style with beautiful backdrops. The best I could compare this game to is something like Steep, which similar to this game was a true forgotten gem. However, Descent Alps is lacking snowboarding and sledding. Hopefully those will be added in the future, though right now it's purely skiing and nothing else. It also lacks any multiplayer or co-op support besides the ghosts of other players' times to compete against. The soundtrack is also worth noting. The game is scored with an awesome Mirror's Edge style soundtrack that really adds to the almost therapeutic-like experience. Descent Alps has a completely free demo available to download right now via the Oculus Quest app lab store. Descent Alps gets a 10 out of 10 must play. Next up is Gun Raiders. Gun Raiders is a completely free game available to download via SideQuest, as well as the Oculus store through AppLab. It's still in development but has the community and gameplay of a completed product. It's a fast-paced combat experience that combines community and competitive gameplay into one. A good example of this is in the lobby alone, it's just full of players with open mics, as well as an arena area to fight in during downtimes between games. The first time I played, I ended up having some late-night convos with players while blasting them in the face with dual-wielding revolvers, and I spent at least an hour in the lobby alone before even realizing that there was a host of actual game modes for me to join. The game modes include Control, which is essentially just a domination style game mode as seen in many other games, Team Deathmatch, and Escape. The community from my experience is pretty friendly and welcoming to new players. The combat is also fantastic. The gunplay isn't exactly anything special. It's satisfying and kills feel rewarding, but the fun really comes with the variety and movement. Each player gets a jetpack with a few seconds of solid flight time that recharges when not in use, as well as a big arsenal of weapons. The fun really comes from balancing the use of your jetpack to your advantage to engage in Titanfall-esque fights while landing consistent shots. Or you can throw all of that out of the window like I did and just run around trying to hit players with knife throws. The engaging jetpack gameplay is also elevated by the great map design, especially in the arena area of the lobby that provides a ton of verticality to the gameplay. Gun Raiders is definitely worth checking out, and I honestly can't wait to see where this game goes in the future. Gun Raiders gets a 10 out of 10 must play. Next up is one of the few games on this list that are actually paid for, and that's Sprint Vector. Sprint Vector is one of my favorite VR games of all time. I played this back when it released on my old PSVR, and I absolutely adored it. The game is essentially just one big parkour race. You run by swinging your arms in real life, you jump by throwing your arms up, and glide by making a Superman pose. I'm a sucker for games that make you physically match the movements in game. I wish more games at least had the option to use this sort of locomotion method. I know it can seem pretty gimmicky at first, but there's a weird sense of realism that comes from the slight breeze you feel on your arms as you desperately swing them to get ahead of other players, or the shake that it causes to your headset, or the actual fatigue that you end up feeling in real life. This is a great workout as well as an insane amount of fun with friends. The level design is also amazing. Each level feels distinct. It pops with color and character, as well as providing diverse routes and obstacles to overcome. From scrambling up wall faces before other sprinters to jumping and gliding to avoid holes in the floor. There's also an array of abilities to throw or shoot at other players to try and scramble their momentum, similar to games such as Mario Kart. Not to mention being able to literally drift corners in this game in order to maintain momentum. The soundtrack is also freaking awesome. The entire game has a Jet Set Radio or Sonic the Hedgehog sort of vibe that takes me back to when I was like 5 years old playing on my PS2. Actually, past GetHip, Jet Set Radio was never on the PS2, and I hate you for thinking so. Sprint Vector, although in my opinion one of the best VR games of all time, I'm not kidding when I say that. Sprint Vector is amazing, received its last update all the way back in 2018. The developer Servios, who developed other games such as Raw Data, seem to have a habit of continuously making VR games without properly supporting their best releases. Sprint Vector also sits at around $30 even to this day, which in comparison to many other VR games out right now is kind of on the pricey side. There's also been seemingly no attempt to add crossplay or even proper support for headsets like the Valve Index. There's also seemingly been no attempts to even bother to try and port this game to the Quest 2 natively. So this is the only game on this list that will require a PC and link cable. Because of these reasons, the player base is just virtually dead. It's so painful to see such an incredible game go to waste because the devs are too busy pumping out games like Puzzle Bobble VR. What the fuck? I could easily see this being one of the most popular VR games of all time if it got native Quest support, crossplay, and became free to play. All things that this game could easily be capable of. But listen, this game is still a ton of fun if you have a PC that can run it. The single player alone provides a good chunk of content to play through. And in an attempt to breathe at least a little bit of life into this game, I'm giving away a Steam code to one of you guys for Sprint Vector. To enter the giveaway, just tell me which game on this list was your favorite and why. Obviously, make sure you've liked and subscribed, as I'll be picking people from my subscribers list. Sprint Vector gets a 5 out of 10. Must play, but I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because the devs abandoned it, sad face. Next up on the list is one that has slowly started to gain more traction in the Quest community, and that's Dash Dash World. I'm including this one as a precaution in case there's anyone watching this that still hasn't heard of or played this game yet. Dash Dash World is essentially Mario Kart in VR. The game has some of the most engaging and fun VR gameplay I have ever experienced. You race against other players for first place using well-timed and controlled drifts and boosts and power-ups to slow other players' momentum. The range of weapons that you can pick up during a race is actually hilarious. From a minigun to a crossbow, or from a frying pan to a chicken that shoots eggs? A fucking chicken. What do I do with a chicken? Every race is engaging and hilarious, while each racer scrambles for first place. The already stellar gameplay is further elevated by awesome level design, and each track feels distinct, colorful, and full of character. There are some truly awesome set pieces that give many tracks their own obstacles to avoid. What the There's also plenty of customizations for both your character and your car to unlock as you play. There's a range of different cars, interiors, wheels, and clothing that keeps the currency earned from each race feeling rewarding. The game has full native Quest support and crossplay with every other platform. The game will only run you around $20 via the Oculus store, so that would be $20 well spent, as Dash Dash World gets a 10 out of 10 must play. Seriously, I can't overstate just how good Dash Dash World is. Seriously, it's amazing. I played this on my stream over at twitch.tv/GetHip. It's sick. Next up is a personal favorite of mine, and that is Synth Riders. I've mentioned this game before on past videos for not getting enough attention, as a lot of users seem to just assume that it's some clone of Beat Saber, when in reality that couldn't be further from the truth. Synth Riders is a rhythm game that is similar to Beat Saber, as it requires you to match each of the colored orbs with the incoming notes. What separates this game from Beat Saber, however, is the use of rail notes. To a new player, this is what seemingly somewhat small gameplay addition that makes an insane impact on the flow of gameplay. This allows Synthrider's gameplay complete connection to the song that's being played. In games such as Beat Saber, there's no like long notes or really any way to properly map out a long chord. Synthriders with the use of the rail notes allows you to hold and follow notes. It's incredibly satisfying and adds so much to gameplay. On top of this, the game has one of the best base game soundtracks for any VR rhythm game I've ever seen, possibly even any game I've ever seen. Synthriders is available on the Quest store for around $20 and gets a 10 out of 10 must play. Next up is an indie title accessible via side quest, and that's T for God. T for God is by far one of the most intriguing and technically impressive games on this list, as it uses your entire room setup to build levels around you, and to navigate the game's world, you literally just walk around in your real life room. Each hallway, each room, it's all built around the play space that's outlined in your Quest 2 setup, and uses elevators to get you from one level to another. It's an entirely new level of realism. Having to physically run behind cover or duck under objects while peeking corners to shoot enemies is insanely engaging and weirdly terrifying, as you feel far more vulnerable this way. There's something disconnecting about using a thumbstick to move your character around. There's something that makes you feel weirdly invulnerable. Having to have to scamper around your own VR space to avoid enemies is really scary. This game is proof that room scale based levels have a bright future ahead of them and add a ton to the VR experience. My only complaint with the game is it definitely feels like an indie title at times, and also the vibe that this game gives me, whether intentional or not, is really creepy. Even though it isn't necessarily a horror game, something about moving through these dystopian environments and fighting these faceless red robots did make me strangely depressed at times. Though this might just be me, the level design technology shown off in this game is, however, just truly something that everyone should experience, and I really hope we see way more of this room scale technology in the future. T for God is completely free to download via side quest and gets a 10 out of 10 must play. Next up is Smash Drums. Smash Drums is a rhythm game that recently released onto the Oculus App Lab on the Oculus Store. Like the name suggests, you smash drums. Similar to Beat Saber, you hit the drums to the beat of the music. Some drums require being hit multiple times to keep the song engaging, and the game only has a demo out right now with just a couple of songs, but a full version is releasing later this month with 21 indie songs. The game is definitely worth a look and is free to check out on App Lab. Smash Drums gets a 8 out of 10. Maybe kind of check out, it's kind of cool, you know, it's only got a couple of songs right now. Maybe wait for the full release, but you want a demo, maybe check it out. Yep. Next up is Swarm. Swarm is essentially Spider-Man, but with guns. It's simple yet incredibly fun. The game recently released on the Oculus Store for around $20. You're equipped with a grappling hook and two dual-wielding pistols as you take down waves and waves of enemies and engage in big and engaging boss battles with diverse mechanics, all with a colorful and engaging cel-shaded art style. I said engaging way too much in that sentence, bro. On top of this, there's also a great momentum system to master, as well as bullet time. Is it just me, or should bullet time be in like every VR game ever? It's so sick. There's also a good variety of different enemies to fight, as well as a light story that adds some backstory to the world around you. Swarm could do with perhaps a co-op mode or some sort of multiplayer PvP to keep things interesting, as after a while the progression in the single player does begin to wear. I can't wait to see where Swarm goes in the future. I hope it continues to get more updates in the future as well. Swarm is definitely worth checking out, as it gets a 10 out of 10 must play. Yo, Swarm devs, if you're listening, maybe just a little bit, please just look into adding a PvP mode. I just want to be able to like fucking swing, and then I like jump up, and then it'd be really cool, please. Next up is Hybo. Hybo is an arena-style game that released for completely free on SideQuest. You enter into an arena with other players and battle it out with some great traversal mechanics that revolve around the bow and arrow. You essentially become Hawkeye as you switch between grapple arrows, scatter arrows, and regular arrows, and even a katana. There's something about comboing a grapple arrow together and switching to a katana mid-air to land on another player and taking them out is just so satisfying. This is also one of the first games in a long time that has caused me to punch my wall while frantically slashing another player. I haven't really felt this level of frantic immersion for a good while, so props to this game for giving me that experience again. Though big oof to my wall. My only issue with the game is because it's so underrated, the whole reason it's on this list is the player base seems to be basically non-existent. Whenever I played, I only got into matches with bots, which still provides enjoyable gameplay, but lacks the community that many other games on this list do. However, Hybo is definitely worth checking out as it is completely free on side quests. Hybo, due to its lacking player base, gets a 7 out of 10. Before I get to the final game, I just want to throw in a few honorable mentions real quick here. Pavlov Shack came to the Oculus App Lab recently in beta form, and still many users don't seem to be totally aware that it exists yet, like myself, as I completely left this gem out of my free Quest 2 game video, as I had no idea that it actually came to the Oculus Quest store in App Lab form. My bad, but I'm trying to make up for it here. Pavlov Shack is an early port of one of the best VR games of all time, Pavlov. I love Pavlov, and it's great to see that it has finally come to the Quest. The game has a great community, a range of game modes, as well as incredibly engaging and fun gunplay. Though due to being native to the Quest, Pavlov Shack is lacking what made Pavlov just so great, and that's the range of community-made game modes made through the Steam Workshop. Though, as it is, the gunplay community more than makes up for the lack of workshop support. Pavlov Shack is completely free via the Quest App Lab store and is definitely worth checking out. Another honorable mention is Dance Central. Dance Central was for many years just a lesser version of Just Dance, but has managed to up the game with full VR support. The game has a decent soundtrack and can provide very solid gameplay. You traverse the game via your phone, selecting songs and navigating menus. It's easy and intuitive and a great game for VR newbies. The game also has a totally free demo available on the Oculus Quest store. There's literally no reason why you can't just check out this game right now. It's definitely worth a look if you're into a little bit of exercise in VR and you don't mind looking like kind of an idiot dancing in the middle of your living room. So the final game on this list is Vanishing Grace. Vanishing Grace is a story-based puzzle single-player game that relatively recently came out of early access on SideQuest and is now available via the Oculus Quest store. The game received positive reviews on SideQuest, but since coming to the Quest store has left players a little disappointed as it's still a little bit buggy. That said, the game still receives positive acclaim due to its emotional narrative, great voice acting, and a great art style. Vanishing Grace is around $17 on the Oculus store and is definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a strong single-player narrative-based game that unfortunately we are lacking in this current day and age of VR. Vanishing Grace gets an 8 out of 10 due to its bugs, but is definitely still worth checking out if you have the spare change. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and hopefully it was helpful to those of you that are maybe new to the Quest 2 or aren't new to the Quest 2 and just need some more games to play. Hopefully this is a pretty inclusive list. There's bound to be a few games I've missed here and there. If I have missed any games that you think are really underrated, please drop your comments down below. And again, if you guys want to win that Sprint Vector key, if you have a PC capable of running it and you have Steam, feel free to enter the giveaway by dropping a comment down below on which game in this list was your favorite and why, as well as having liked and subscribed, as I'll be picking people from my subscribers list. Also, the winner from the head strap giveaway from the last video is Impulse. Congratulations, I'll be in contact with you through your channel discussion page as well as the reply to that comment, so make sure you respond to me through either of those avenues. If you got to this point in the video, you are the true MVP as you keep the watch time high and you actually keep these videos recommended, so thank you. I really do appreciate those of you that get to this point in the video because it means the world and it helps so much. If you did enjoy this video, a like would be much appreciated. Maybe a sub if you want more content like this in the future. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye bye. This was a long video, kind of. Yeah, this is a 24-minute recording. Oh, I feel so bad for my editor, dude. Also, by the way, those of you asking about my editor, he edits all the stuff where I talk to camera. When I screw up my words or whatever, he cuts that stuff out. I do all of the overlay footage and the B-roll. Basically, he just allows me a little more time to be able to write these scripts and do the thumbnail and the titles and all that. So big thanks to my editor. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully he doesn't hate me for too much for making this a 25-minute long base recording. I'm going to peace out. Also, maybe hop over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/GetHip. I've been streaming almost daily at this point. It's a good place to hang out, great community there, and I really enjoy talking to you guys live. I also have a Discord, link to my Discord in the description down below, as well as Twitter and Instagram. I have other social medias as well. Thanks for hanging around. I'm gonna peace out because I gotta get to work on this motherfucking video. Peace. Bye bye.